Start again, please.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. This is now part 4 of Al-Tasfiyah wa Al-Tarbiyah by Imam Muhammad Nasiruddin Al-Albani rahimahullah. And it is the 24th of Rajab, 1445, which is the 4th of February, 2024. And we have reached, in the English translation of the book, page 32. So we will mention some of the examples which conflict with the Sunnah, which are still present in our books, which are taught in all the schools of Sharia and colleges, and that which resembles them. The first example is from one of the Islamic madhabs, and it is that of the worshipper who begins his prayer by letting his hands fall by the side and not placing them on the chest. And why is this so? Because the madhab says so. And this is whilst all of the scholars of hadith have endeavored to bring a single hadith, even if it be weak, rather, even if it be fabricated, that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not place his right hand on his left when he stood up to pray. However, it does not exist. So is this Islam? I know that some of you will then say, this is from the subsidiary matters. Indeed.
Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala. Amma ba'd. I'd like you to spotlight me, Jazakallah khair, Ahmed. We are, from last time, we've been talking about the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. إذا صح الحديث فهو مذهب. Sorry, the words of the Imams when they said إذا صح الحديث فهو مذهبي. The Imams, they say, if the hadith is authentic, then this is my madhab. So if the Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah is to be alive, he would straight away say that the alcohol which is taken, or the wine which is taken from the dates, is exactly the same as the grapes, and there is no difference, because he would have been seeing the hadith that he did not see it at the time, the hadith which says ما أسكر كثيره فقليله حرام. Whatever too much of it is going to make you drunk, then little of it is haram. So there's something noise, isn't it? What is it? The headset. Is it? Yeah. Really bad. Why is that? Because of wind, for example? I'm going to Ahmed. Better? Very sure. It's just very sensitive. That's why. Fine. So Shaykh Al-Albani rahimahullah, we say that we want to make sure that you understand what we are having and we are facing. When the Prophet of Allah, he said, there is no way for us. By the way, I don't trust wireless. See, cuts off. That's the problem. Can I have the wire, please? I know it's going to be wow, but don't trust wireless. Never trust it. We have to have another microphone. This is battery maybe needs changing now. Barakallah feek. After the prayer, what to do? Sort this out and make another microphone, inshallah. Right. Sorry about that. It's going to be banging into your head because of the sound is made for the recitation, not for the lecture. Right. And before I start, please, if the sisters can't hear me properly, you have to say it right now, not just in the middle of the lecture. The first example Shaykh Al-Albani is going to bring about is some example which is practiced by people who are in the Moroccan sites, Moroccans, Algerians, where the people, when they stand up for the prayer and recite the Fatiha, they put the right on and the left on their sides, not the right on the left. So he says here, why is this taking place? When the ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ say that he put the right on the left. The scholars, they have exerted so much effort to bring a single hadith not just a hadith which is authentic, but hadith, whether it is authentic, not authentic, fabricated, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not put the right on the left when he was standing in the prayer to make the Fatiha, to recite the Fatiha. Subhanallah. So how do they do it? So here, this is a madhab called the madhab al-Maliki. And Imam Malik has got nothing to do with it. And the story behind this, Imam Malik, by the way, is one of the great Imams, one of the four whom they're renowned for their school of thought. He never said to anybody, oh, people, follow me. I am Maliki, I am follow Madhab Maliki. No, all of the scholars, they said, from Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Shafi'i, and Ahmad bin Hanbal, and others, Layth ibn Sa'd, and Zufar, and Sufyan al-Thawri, and others. All of them, they said, if the hadith is authentic, then this is my madhab. In Muwatta al-Imam Malik, what is Muwatta? It's a book Malik compiled from the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This following hadith, min kalam al-nubuwah, Prophet said, it is from the prophethood saying, إِذَا لَمْ تَسْتَحِ فَاصْنَعْ مَا شِئْتَ. If you're not having any shame, then do what you like. And then also from the prophethood sayings, وَضْعُ الْيَدَيْنِ أو الْيَمِينِ أو الْيَدَيْنِ إِحْدَاهُمَا عَلَى الْأُخْرَى. Put in the hands one on top of each other. فِي الصَّلَاةِ, in the prayer. That means you put in the right on the left. And the third one, وَتَعْجِيلُ الْفِطْرِ, and to hasten the breaking of the fast. And lastly, وَالْإِسْتِينَاءُ بِالسَّحُورِ, meaning to delay the sahur, which is the late, we call it pre-dawn meal, late meal before you start fasting. And also Sahl ibn Sa'd al-Sa'idi, radiyallahu anhu wardah, he said that the Prophet of Allah, he said, the people used to be commanded to put the right on the left in the prayer. So this is Imam Malik's book. Do you think Imam Malik's book would put a hadith or the Prophet of Allah and he himself will go against the hadith? No way. So what was the whole story about now? What happened is Imam Malik rahimahullah was asked by the leaders at that time to make a fatwa, and this fatwa, which is to say that the talaq al-makruh, the person who's been pushed to divorce his wife, it is going to be counted. And he said no. Why they have said this? So that whenever the judge, forces the person by, otherwise I'll imprison you, if you don't divorce, if he had uttered the divorce, then that divorce will count. Imam Maliki said no. This talaq being under the force is not with the consent of that person. Because of this, he was imprisoned. And that was at the time of Ja'far ibn Sulaiman, who was the mayor of the city of the Prophet, Medina, of the Prophet ﷺ, in the Caliphate of Al-Mansur. One of the Abbasi Caliphate, it says Al-Mansur. This person, Ja'far ibn Sulaiman, he is the mayor. He commanded for the Imam Malik to be lashed. You know what's lashing? Lashed. 70 lashes. Those 70 lashes had dislocated his shoulder, both. So he couldn't find it easy to put the right on the left in the prayer. So he's praying with his hands down. But he's not saying this is the sunnah. He's done it because of a reason. But the people, they took it from him, that is the sunnah. And if you want more about this, there's a booklet called Shifa'u Salik fi Irsal Imam Malik al-Mulla Qari. And that is the first scholar who had made a treatise, which is a booklet named Shifa'u Salik, the cure of the person who is on the path, regarding the issue of Malik putting his hands down, not on the right, on the left. And that is with the checking of our Sheikh Mashhur Ibn Hassan, may Allah preserve it. So this is the whole story behind putting the right and the left on the sides, not on top of one another. So this got nothing to do with the Islam. So is this the Islam that Allah is asking us to go back to? Some of you, he says that he might say this is a subsidiary matter. You know what subsidiary matter? It's a branch. It's not a major issue. I mean, so what? That if the people had put the right and the left on their side, because this has nothing to do with pillars of Islam, Aqeedah, and so on and so forth. And some of them even dare to say, insignificant, not insignificant, worthless. He says like this. And subhanallah, this person doesn't know that this is coming from the Sharia. First from the mouth of the Prophet of Allah, and then secondly from Allah Azza wa Jal. Are you saying that in the religion of Allah, something which is worthless? You know, this word is like kufr, insignificant. So continue, please, Imam Ahmad. Continue, Ahmad, and let's see, inshallah.
I know that some of you will then say this is from the subsidiary matters. Indeed, some of them will even become careless with their utterance and say this is from the insignificant matters. I believe that everything that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with, which has a connection to the religion and worship, then it is not from the insignificant matters. We believe that everything that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with, then it is obligatory that we adopt it firstly as the religion according to its strength in relation to the proofs of the Sharia. If it is obligatory, then it is obligatory, and if it is recommended, then it is recommended. As for calling a matter insignificant or secondary simply because it is recommended, then this is not from the general Islamic etiquette for anything. This is more so due to the fact that it is not possible for us to preserve the primary matters except through the preservation of the secondary matters. I say this if I wish to debate with them in word.
No, the translation was not correct. Not all of it. When he said al-kushur wal-lubab, this is a word which I've heard so many times from the word people who are in ahzab, hizbi. And when we talk as the Salafi, people who are caring about the sunnah of the Prophet of Allah, whether it is the obligatory one or the recommended one, whether it is the aqeedah or whether it is to put your thawb above your ankle. For us, this is important as well. They say you always talk about something which is called qushur. You see, he did not translate, he didn't understand. Qushur. Qushur means the skin. You know, the fruit has a skin and has inside it what? The fruit itself. So let's say you've got an orange. It's got a skin, isn't it? Some of you don't. I eat the skin, by the way, myself. I like it. It's got, by the way, benefit. So there's a skin and there's what? The inside, the orange itself. So they say that what you're talking about, this is to do with putting the right and the left and to do with putting your garment above your ankle. And that is all of it qushur. You know, if I say to them that whatever you are saying is qushur, or some or part of your talk is qushur, he's going to be annoyed because I'm belittling him. So if we are daring to say in Allah's deen there is qushur, and he just behave this person, what is he talking about? And then he says, the Shaykh Al-Albani, if I'm gonna, the children has to stay, well, they can't just go like this, because it's not really correct. So please make the children to stay put. They don't go there, please, because it's not correct. I'm just seeing you going, coming, going. It's not correct. Right. So the Prophet ﷺ, he came with the deen. We say that this, he said, the Shaykh Al-Albani, this qushur is made to protect the inside. So I'm going to take you word for word. You say that there is no importance for the subsidiary matters because it's like qushur, skin. But we know if there's no skin, the whole fruit will be ruined. So I'm going to talk to you word for word, but I'm not saying that it's qushur. But according to what you said, also you're not really proving your point. Qushur to protect the inside. There's no qushur, everything will be ruined. Flies will go into it, everything will go into it. You know, if you have a fruit like orange with the skin of it, it stays for days, isn't it? Take the skin, how many days can you say? Maybe less than about 6 hours, it'll be finished. So that is to protect. So those matters, if you're going to call it qushur, it still is going to be protected. Can I just ask for that, please, brother? Fill up the gap, ikhwani. Wallahi, this is gaps like this is vulnerable for us. Shaitan fills them up. We need to be together. We have to. We have to strive for this, not to sit on the wall. I'm giving up to talk to the people who sit in the wall. Giving up. Said my words, and that's it. خلاص. طيب, let's go now back. طيب, let's go back to Ahmed, please, and read. Jazakallah khair.
Jazak, Sheikh. So why have the Muslims persisted in acting upon this simple matter, letting the hands fall down by the side, whilst a hadith come one after another in all the books of the Sunnah that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam placed his hands on his chest? This is nothing more than blind following and stubbornness, and in contradiction to the Imams in their saying, إِذَا صَحَّ الْحَدِيثُ فَهُوَ مَذْهَبِي. When a hadith is authentic, then it is my madhab. Indeed, this simple example will not please some of the people, so we will mention another example. Some of the books of fiqh of the madhabs still mention that alcohol is of two types. A type which is extracted from grapes, a small amount of it or a large amount of it both being forbidden, and another type which is extracted from other than grapes. This other type is from barley or maize or dates, or other than that from what the non-Muslims have specialized in today in the extraction of alcohol. Not all of this type of alcohol is considered forbidden, rather only that which intoxicates is forbidden. So why is this statement still written in the books?
Right.
Indeed.
Do you know that we have Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, Al-Imam Sufyan al-Thawri. I'm talking about scholars like mountains. Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, Sufyan al-Thawri, Waqi', Abu Yusuf, Yaqub, which is a student of Imam Abu Hanifa, Ibn Abdin, the person who is one of the scholars who had documented the fiqh of Abu Hanifa. All of those, they said the following, that if you have intoxicant drink from other than the grapes, then the only haram is when the cup that makes you drunk. So if you have normal beer, the beer that the kuffar drinks, which is made of wheat or made of barley and hops and all of those things, okay? So as long as it's not from the grapes, you could have 1 can, 2 cans, as long as you don't what? Get drunk. And that is still in the books of the Ahnaf, the Hanafi books. So that's why we say, what type of religion do you want to go back to? What flavor? What flavor? So the alcohol, which is extracted from other than the grapes, they say, no. If it's a wine made from grapes, then it is haram, whether a little bit or too much of it. But other than the grapes, from the dates, from the wheat, from the barley, from the busr, from all of those types, as long as you don't get drunk, it's halal for you to drink. Cup, 2 cups, 3 cups. Once you feel you get drunk, stop. That's the cup which is haram. MashaAllah. Still in the books, by the way. Still in the books and adopted by the Hanafis' madhab. But the Hanafis, they don't do it. Adopted by the books. Still in the books, but people, they don't know about this. So here he says here, right, this is still documented. Even people that don't implement it. I've never seen a Hanafi say, having 4%, 5% beer, drinking it. I've never seen that. But it's still in the books. It's still there. Okay. Now, listen how these people are fanatic in defending, not the deen, defending Abu Hanifa. Akhi, Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, is a scholar. And when he said what he had said, he said it for a reason. Because he did not have the proof to make it haram. Because he was asked, how can you do this? Because he did not receive the hadith, which is the following. Ma askara kathiru faqalyuha. What is too much of it, you drink, then little of it is haram. Imagine now, I've got 1 bottle, 2 bottles, okay, mashallah, full of that drink. If I drink 1, I don't get drunk. If I drink 2, I will get drunk. So if I drink 2, I get drunk, or I drink, let's say 10 of it, I get drunk, that means a little of it is maybe what? A drop, which will never get you drunk. Abu Hanifa said, this is only for grape. Other than that, no problem. Why? Because he did not receive that hadith. Number 2, he had so many unauthentic narrations from companions, like Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, that those companions used to drink the wine made from the dates. So he said, do you want me to make the companions corrupt? That they are drinking something which is haram? The reason behind this is because of some of the narration is not correct, and some, and then another as well excuse, which he didn't understand the meaning of the word, the khamr here. This because of the sharab of the dates. It is not khamr, it's not toxicant. Now, not every date juice is intoxicant drink. You know that the wine, have you heard about the grape juice? Haven't you? You drink it, don't you? But this grape juice, if you leave it for a certain time, and also you make this process to turn it into wine, you could do that. Do you understand me? The process, you could YouTube it. I'm not saying to go on YouTube it and Google it, but it's there. You could make this grape juice into an intoxicant drink, make it khamr. So the date juice that they used to drink, the companions, it was not intoxicant at all. So Abu Hanifa, he is an imam and he is a mujtahid. A person can derive rules because he has the tools and the knowledge. And the Prophet of Allah, he said, if this type of person or other leaders who had made ijtihad and arrived to a conclusion and happens to be wrong, he's still rewarded. He's still what? Rewarded. So Abu Hanifa is still rewarded for that. But those who come after him, they know it's wrong, they are not rewarded, they are sinned. Why not just now? On the book of Abu Hanifa's, or in the saying this is not correct from Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa, he made a mistake. But for them, it is too much to say Abu Hanifa made a mistake. It's like they are saying, even not bluntly, Abu Hanifa is faultless, infallible, like the Prophet. They don't say it like this, but this is the outcome of what they say. If you see a Hanafi scholar who's fanatic and he writes the biography of Abu Hanifa, you think he's writing the biography, I don't think of a prophet, of an angel. The biography of an angel. Abu Hanifa, and how many times in the Kaaba he's been there, and too many things. Even the Prophet can't do it. Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And this is the ghulu, the extremism they go into it. Abu Hanifa is a scholar, is on top of our head. But he's a human being, makes mistakes. As for the Prophet ﷺ, he doesn't make mistakes because he's being guarded by the revelation. إِنَّمَا هُوَ وَحْيٌ يُوحَى. He did the Prophet Allah mistakes regarding the dunya. But regarding the deen, no mistakes because he's being guarded by the revelation, by the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Abu Hanifa or any other scholar, they're not guarded. They're not infallible. Why just you have the guts to say he made a mistake and he's still rewarded? Simple, but they don't say it. That's called the fanaticism. It's called Al-Tasfiyah. So when he had some of those books, and I'm going to mention 2 or 3, بدائع الصنائع في ترتيب الشرائع للإمام الكاساني. You'll find in that book that as well. الدر المختار للحصكفي. رد المحتار ابن عبدين, which is حاشية رد المحتار على الدر المختار شرح تنوير الأبصار. Continue, Ahmed.
Indeed, some of the people defend this with different types of argumentation. However, it is nothing more than the fact that an imam from amongst the imams of the Muslims made ijtihad and said this statement. This is in light of the fact that all of us, despite our different madhabs and the different sources which we take from, read in the books of Sunnah with authentic chains of narration that he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ma askara kathiruhu fa qaliluhu haram." That which intoxicates in large amounts is forbidden in small amounts. And kullu muskirin khamrun wa kullu khamrin haram. Every intoxicant is khamr, alcohol, and every khamr is forbidden. So why does the likes of this dangerous statement still continue to persist? A statement which encourages the people, those who are on the edge of the pit of sinfulness or have indeed fallen into it in reality, makes pleasing to them the drinking of a small amount of alcohol which is from other than grapes. And this is based upon the proof that Imam such and such, with him being a virtuous scholar, said so. Oh, what a proof!
What a proof. This is not a proof. Now,
We also believe that this scholar is virtuous.
no, we don't.
However,
No, also take it out. That's correct. We believe.
we
No.
believe that this scholar is virtuous.
This
However,
scholar, Abu Hanifa, is virtuous, pious. Now,
the difference is that we don't forget that he is a virtuous scholar who is not protected from error. They pretend to forget this reality and they persist in defending this statement. Some of them even take advantage of this statement by circulating intoxicating substances amongst the Muslims. Others just defend the Imam and not the statement. Perhaps many of you have heard.
He will keep a closed eye from the statement and he keep defending the Imam. Akhi, the Imam is a Paul. I defend him myself, rahimahullah. Any Imam is my scholar. But I'm defending him from your extremism by not saying that, okay, he is not infallible. You have to say he's not infallible. He's not fault-free, is he? Error-free. He's not. He makes mistake. But these people, they don't accept this. Okay, now we're coming to a practical example how these sayings of these imams, which hasn't been shown to be, they are incorrect, being adopted by people who have no fear of Allah. Their motivation is different. Abu Hanifa, as I said, he made it halal because of the proof that he had arrived to him. You know, Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, he had made a book, which I'm going through, alhamdulillah, and I started going through it last week. And that is a book called Raf'ul Malam an al-A'immati al-A'lam, lifting the blame from the great scholars, in which he wants to defend these imams, whom some of the people started talking about them, saying, how can this Abu Hanifa say alcohol is made from other than the graces to be halal as long as they don't get you drunk? And he started what? Insulting Abu Hanifa. So, and other scholars. So Imam Ibn Taymiyyah made this book to defend them. That if you find one of their opinions which directly oppose a text from the Quran, or most likely a hadith from the Prophet of Allah, don't say they are having no fear of Allah. Because we Muslims believe those scholars, they have fear of Allah. But they have a reason why they chose this opinion, which we know now it's 100% wrong. They have a reason. And he mentioned three. From those three, he made also other branches. One of them that maybe did not have the hadith. Or the hadith arrived to him, but it's not authentic. Or the hadith is authentic, but it hasn't got, according to what he believes, that verdict which makes it according to what you think. And so on and so forth. Or the hadith is authentic, but also there is another one which opposes it. Or this hadith is authentic, but is being abrogated. You know what's abrogated? It's being cancelled, the other hadiths. Lots of reasons why the Imam would choose such an opinion, which for us now, absolutely it's not correct. Tell you what, according to Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, now let's just leave Abu Hanifa because we're not targeting Abu Hanifa. According to the Imam Shafi'i, the person, if he touches his wife like this, his wudu is invalid. Do you adopt such an opinion, guys? I think you kiss your wife when you come to the prayer. Nothing, no problem. You kiss your wife and you come to the prayer, no problem. Your wudu is still valid, your prayer is still valid. But Abu Shafi'i said, no. So the person is an imam who is a follower of the Shafi'i. So this imam of his, kissing his wife, touching his wife, is going to lead. He said, bye-bye, I'm not going to be behind you. Because he believes that this imam's wudu is what? Is invalid. And you're going to lead me with an invalid wudu? No way I'm going to be behind you. This is why the separation, the split took place. This difference led to the split. And not every difference will lead to the split, because there's some differences which are, we call it ikhtilaf tanawwur, difference of, of varieties. Prophet Allah said this and this and this. And I gave example of that last time. I said, imagine now this table is in front of me. Each person says something to describe it. One, he says, this table has got 4 legs. Another person, he said, table, which is really huge. The third person, he said, a table, plastic is made of. The third, oh, it's a table which has got a cloth. A table, you understand me, is thin, it's not thick. All of these are correct, isn't it? None of them is going against one another because all of them describing the same table. Like we have a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ regarding the istiftah dua, the opening supplication. There is a variety. In the ruku', there's a variety of supplication. So that is called difference, but of types, no problem. All of them correct. But there's ikhtilaf tabad. Ikhtilaf that is clashing with the proof from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, clashing with the hadith, 100%, like the wine, like the right and the left. And the prayer is clashing with the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. We're being commanded to put the right on the left, and this person putting it on the side when he recites the Fatiha. Fadal. Let's see an example, practical example of the adaptation of Abu Hanifa's saying because of his evil motivation. Fadal.
Barakallahu feekum. Perhaps many of you will have heard the Arab magazine published an article a few years ago by one of these people in which he embraces and adopts this statement, that is, in respect to alcoholic drinks extracted from other than grapes, and that the majority of the alcoholic drinks of today, in what is apparent, are from other than grapes. So he published an article in the Arab magazine and permitted the Muslims to drink what they like from these modern day intoxicants upon the pretext of, don't drink that which will intoxicate you. This is an unrealistic action because in reality, all of us know the first drop of alcohol brings about the second drop, and the third drop brings about the fourth drop, and so on. The small amount which does not intoxicate is a procedure which cannot be determined and regulated with precision.
Okay.
Thus, it will eventually
Go on.
Thus, it will eventually bring about the large amount which will intoxicate.
You're gone, Ahmed.
So I say, can you hear me, Shaykhana?
In the last word, we didn't see it. We didn't hear it.
Thus, it will eventually bring about the large amount which will intoxicate.
Good. Right. This is called Majallat Al-Arabi. It's a Kuwaiti Majallah, magazine that comes out from Kuwait. This is one of the first, maybe to say the first magazine which has got colors, got pictures, and is very well sort of, I would say, documented and also well spent money on it. It smells petrol, mashallah. It's very posh. Majallat Al-Arabi. And it's the year which has been founded is 1958. That's a long time ago. 1958. Well before I was born. This magazine, I used to buy it myself and read some of the articles there. Now this Sheikh Al-Albani talks about an article that took place at that time, which this article talks about, which is the rule of drinking the wine. Okay, so he had actually based his article upon Abu Hanifa's opinion. And he said, it's okay for you guys to drink beer as long as it's not made from the grapes. And it's not going to get you drunk. So you can drink the beer. And, you know, we have now lots of intoxicant drinks other than the grapes. So he says that as long as you don't get drunk. So he said, even this is something imaginary. Because one drop leads to another drop. So which is the one that you're going to be saying, the drop, this is going to be what me drunk? You already take it, it's haram anyway. You're going to keep trying until I said, oh, I'm getting dizzy now. Now I stop. But already you've drunk the haram bit that gets you dizzy. So even that is not practical. So he says now, Sheikh Al-Albani, Tfaddali Ahmed.
So I say, why does the likes of this statement still remain in the books of fiqh? Well, it clashes with irrefutable ahadith which are established from the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam in negating it. Why do we give a free hand to a biased writer who then publicizes this statement and builds lofty towers and palaces upon it, and who permits for the Muslims the drinking of forbidden drinks with the condition, don't drink that which intoxicates, and drink a little and don't drink a lot? It is possible that the man who wrote this article is biased. It is also possible that he is of good intention and wishes to take the path of some of the people by saying, O people, do not be harsh upon the Muslims, as long as there exists a saying of an imam from amongst the imams of the Muslims which permits for them this drinking, then why should we forbid it? It is possible that the writer of this article is like this. However, why is it also that we see one of the learned scholars of Sham then offering a treatise in refutation of this article?
But just before you continue, first of all, the article in Majallat al-Kuwaitiyya is named هذا هو حكم الله في الخمر. This is the rule of Allah regarding khamr, intoxicant. So this is the article. So the title is, this is the rule of Allah. You must make it halal. This is the rule of Allah in al-khamr, intoxicant drink. This person who is not a religious sheikh, but there is another one he's talking about, the sheikh. And this person is from the scholars of Bilad al-Sham. His name Muhammad ibn Mahmud al-Hamid al-Hamawi. He has been born in 1910, just a bit older than Sheikh al-Albani, died in 1969. So he is about 4 years older than the Sheikh al-Albani, rahimahullah. And he was from the Brotherhood, Ikhwani. And he was fighting the bid'ah, but yet he is himself a Sufi. He was Naqshbandi on the Junayd Tariqah. He made a treatise, a book, which is called Al-Qawlu fil Muskirat, the final saying regarding the intoxicant drinks, the ones that get you drunk, the final saying, the final verdict. Okay, in this, he sees this person, he's undecisive. Sometimes he says, well, it is haram. Sometimes we say, well, Imam Abu Hanifa is a great Imam. You can't come up with a conclusion from his writing. So if you have written such a book in order to refute the article in the magazine of Kuwait, which is هذا حكم الله بالخمر, why can't you just be blunt and say Abu Hanifa made a mistake, and you as a person to adopt that, whether you have a good intention or not, you are wrong as well, because you have built your lofty tower on top of foundation which are absolutely rubbish and collapsed. Fadal ya Ahmed.
However, why is it also that we see one of the learned scholars of Sham then offering a treatise in refutation of this article, with you able to see confusion in his refutation? Sometimes he is on the side of the one who said the statement which is adopted by the writer, and sometimes he quotes the hadith, some of which we have mentioned, which are a refutation of the writer and whomsoever he relies on. Why do you see this learned scholar wavering about? It is because he reveres this statement permitting alcohol.
Why do we see that? What? Scholar, again? Why do you see?
Why do we see this learned scholar wavering about?
Learned, and he said, Fadil, pious scholar, righteous scholar. Go on. Now.
It is because he reveres this statement permitting alcohol due to it originating from one of the great scholars from amongst the scholars of the Muslims. And this great scholar, according to him, does not speak from desire or ignorance.
Which is 100%.
I say in agreement with him that this great scholar does not speak from desire or ignorance.
We all agree.
However, he is infallible in his ijtihad.
No. Is he? He is.
Yeah, jazakallah khair. However, is he infallible in his
It's in 180 degrees. 180 degrees. However, is he?
However, is he infallible in his ijtihad, which is far from ignorance and desire? All of us will say no, and we will all remember.
Not infallible. All of us will say that. No.
All of us will say no, and we will all remember the statement of the Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when a scholar judges and makes the ijtihad and is correct in his decision, then he gets 2 rewards. And when he judges and makes ijtihad and then makes a mistake, he gets 1 reward. So why do we forget that the mujtahid scholar who makes ijtihad will indeed be rewarded with at least 1 reward? Why can we not say that he has made a mistake? The reason for this is that it is difficult for some of the people to hear a person saying, indeed, such and such, the Imam has made a mistake.
Such and such, not the Imam. Such and such Imam. Ahmed, do not add words.
Oh, sorry if I've read that wrong. Indeed, such and such, the Imam has made a mistake.
It's not wrong. It's not
Oh,
correct.
they've written that, Sheikh, in the translation.
Such and such imam is wrong. They are saying, they're scared to say, such and such imam is wrong. Not such and such the imam. Such and such imam is wrong. Go ahead.
However, all the paths, as they say, are under inspection. We then say,
كل الدروب على الطاحون. You know, he says that all these paths will lead to the mill. Meaning, if you say this and you say this, the result is the same, akhi. I mean, the result is the same. You just say that Imam is wrong. Now,
we then say, why such stubbornness? Or why do we fear to say that indeed an
why we are
imam
coward? Why we are coward to say that this Imam, go on,
from amongst the imams of the Muslims has erred in a matter,
made a mistake, erred in this matter,
or in making ijtihad,
or
or in his opinion, and that he will be rewarded with one reward instead of two. So why don't we say this as a starting point firstly, and secondly as an application of some of the subsidiary matters? And from amongst these subsidiary matters
yes, go
is
ahead.
the subject matter
That's it.
at hand.
Okay, right. Subject matter, which is
Making alcohol permissible.
making alcohol permissible. Now, when you stop on a full sentence, sorry, because I don't have the English with me. I've got the English somewhere there, but I'm following you with the translation. Now, I need to make sure that you understood that I have said that this scholar, whom the Sheikh Al-Albani, you could see him, had praised him a bit of times here, many times, but Sheikh Al-Albani later on, he had shown that this person, he is as well muta'assib, hizbi. And that's why I wanted to tell you that he's Ikhwani, and he is as well on the Sufi. He was on the طريق النقشبندية on the way of Al-Junayd. And Sheikh Al-Albani rahimahullah also, even though that he had praised him, he had this man made a treatise in order to refute or to denounce or encounter all those scholars who had called for opening the gate of ijtihad, or who had said that we should not be following a particular madhab. And he made this book, or he made the title of the book, لزوم اتباع مذاهب الأئمة حسما للفوضى الدينية. You must follow one of the school of the thought. You must be Hanafi or Imam Maliki or Shafi'i or Hanbali in order to seize this religious chaos. He calls it religious chaos. And even the Buti, who died, he had taken and extracted so many of the texts from this person, from this Muhammad al-Hamawi, the scholar whom the Sheikh Al-Albani had praised, and he made this book to refute the Salafiyah. اللامذهبية أخطر بدعة تهدد الشريعة الإسلامية. He said, to have no madhab, this is the most dangerous bid'ah which threatens the Islamic Sharia. And Sheikh Muhammad Eid al-Abbasi, Habibullah, he is one of those people who had refuted him, rahimahullah, who had refuted this person in his great book called Bid'at al-Ta'assub al-Madhab. Ikhwani, why am I saying this? Because I don't want any person, when he hears this person being praised, which is Muhammad ibn Mahmud al-Hamid al-Hamawi, then he might go and read his books and be affected by him. That's why I'm warning. We have a story here of Abu Walid al-Baji, and this is a story that we need to learn from it. Abu Walid al-Baji, when he saw Abu Dharr al-Haram, a person who is great scholar, he is adopting the madhab al-Ash'ari. He said to him, how did you drift from the Salafiyah to the Ash'ariyah? How did you have this? He said, well, I was one day walking with Abu al-Hasan al-Daraqutni. Abu al-Hasan al-Daraqutni is a great scholar, the greatest of his time, Salafi scholar, and he is the Imam of his time. He said, we have met Al-Qadi Abu Bakr ibn al-Tayyib al-Baqillani, scholar, but he is an Ash'ari scholar. As a great scholar, Al-Qadi Abu Bakr ibn al-Tayyib al-Baqillani, he was an Ash'ari. So Ad-Daraqutni took his hand and he kissed it. So when he did this, Abu Dharr al-Harawi, he asked him, why did you do this when you are the Imam of your time? He said, this is the Imam of the Muslimin. He's now praising whom? Praising Al-Baqillani. This is the Imam of the Muslimin, Al-Qadi Muhammad ibn Tayyib al-Baqillani. So since that time, he said, I started to look at this person with great respect and I started to take him as a role model, and I've read his book, and that's why you find me drifting to his madhab, which is the Ash'ari. So when we have a wrong statement towards a person, it could be devastating. We have to clarify it, and to say that Sheikh Al-Albani at a certain time, he praised this scholar, but no, we know that this scholar, he had also drifted away from the haqq, not just with that book regarding the khamr, which he did not, as I said, show it clearly that the Abu Hanifa is wrong. He was not there into that. He's a coward. But he had said so many things which is against the proper methodology. By this, alhamdulillah, we come to the end of what we plan to talk about. And you are about, where you are, Ahmed, now? Page what?
We are now on page number 37, second paragraph from the bottom.
Okay, no, just continue that bit because it's still lingering.
When you read the treatise which this scholar has authored in refutation of that writer, you do not come away with the conclusion that the writer has made a mistake in his reliance upon the opinion of an imam from amongst the imams of the Muslims. This is because, in reality, after this opinion was thoroughly examined and submitted in front of the proofs of the Sharia, some of the followers of this imam himself were obliged to reject this matter, leaving it as one reward for the imam, and then to adhere to the authentic ahadith. So why do we not read in this treatise that the imam has made a mistake but is rewarded, and that the writer has no right to be in opposition to the sunnah with the opinion of this imam?
Okay.
The answer...
Before you say the answer, this imam who he did not look at and did not adopt this matter, his name is Muhammad ibn Hassan al-Shaybani. Some of them is called Abdullah al-Sayyari, Abu Ja'far al-Tahawi. Those imams who are followers of Abu Hanifa, they did not adopt what Abu Hanifa had said. So Muhammad Hassan al-Shaybani is not like Abu Yusuf Yaqub. Both are students of Imam Abu Hanifa, but one of them, he said, no, and this is not correct. He will not adopt the alcohol issue. Oh, what is the answer, please?
The answer, because indeed the opinion has overcome us, and in our hearts there is a reverence and respect for the imams more than that which Allah has obligatory, more than that which Allah made obligatory upon us, and we believe in the saying of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam for ourselves. Not from us is the one who does not honor our elder, or who does not have mercy on our young, who does not recognize the right of our scholar.
Right.
This is
why we see that the reason we have too much reverence to elevate such a scholar, to make him equal, not to a prophet, even to an angel, as I said. This extra sanctification of a scholar, it leads to such extreme, and it leads us not to dare to say that this imam had made a mistake. Go ahead. Go ahead, page 38 from the Fajr. We believe. Hello, Ahmed.
Can you hear me, Sheikh?
Yeah.
This is from that which the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam urged the Muslims to do in recognizing the right of the scholar. However, is it from the right of the scholar that we raise him to the level of prophethood and messengership until we eventually give him infallibility with our silent language? And the language of silence is clearer than the language of speech. Therefore, it is upon us to respect the scholar, give him his due right, and to follow him when he shows us the proof. Then it is not upon us that we promote from his saying whilst we diminish from the saying of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nor is it upon us that we prefer his saying over the saying of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is just another one of the examples which are still in effect amongst us without rejection or opposition from those people who have knowledge of the Quran and Sunnah. Indeed, I mentioned this issue of alcohol in a published treatise of mine, and that it was required from the reader to depart from it with one conclusion, and that is that the matter is as the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said as one statement: that which intoxicates in large amounts is forbidden in small amounts.
And the Shaykh Al-Albani talked about this in Silsila Sahiha, and the hadith is number 91. Now,
Thus, the writer of the article in the Arab magazine is mistaken. Whomsoever he has relied on from the people of knowledge, then he is also mistaken. And we do not have any favoritism for anyone when he makes a mistake. A mistake is a mistake, and disbelief is disbelief. Whether it comes from young or old or male or female, then it is still all a mistake. And the mistake does not differ in it being a mistake due to the source it came from. Another example out there is with respect to marriage.
okay, this marriage, inshallah, we'll leave it. Second example. So we finished now the example of the alcohol. Second example is to do with having no wali when you get married. And that is adopted also by the Hanafis, and you'll find them in the Hanafi masjids, that they make the marriage between a two couple, and that is husband and a wife, without the presence of the wali, because they depend upon, again, Abu Hanifa's saying. And Abu Hanifa, he had made a mistake because he didn't have the proof to say that you must have a wali, and the wali presence is a pillar. If there is no wali, or there's no approval of the wali, then this marriage is void. But stop here, inshallah. As I said, we will talk about that not next week, so not next class in 2 weeks' time, because I am not going to be here. It's going to be after 4 weeks. Okay, it's going to be after 4 weeks. The second example, we're going to be fresh, inshallah, after we have, alhamdulillah, made sure that you're not going to drink beer. Okay, now we'll come to the questions. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Jazakumullahu khair.
Yes, regarding the putting the right hand over the left hand, what's the unified decision according to the is it haram, or is it something that is liked, or when someone doing that? No, I mean the one who doesn't put their hands on.
You mean when he reads the Fatiha? There's two things, by the way, you have to distinguish with. Question is asking about putting the right and the left. There's two places where the right and the left is in dispute. The first one, which is when you read the Fatiha, and that is 100%, there is no hadith whatsoever to support this. But there's another position, which is after ruku'. And that is, you could say, a difference among the scholars. Even we think and believe this is wrong to put the right and the left, you have to put them on the side, the opposite. But the second one, which is after the ruku', is not as clear as the one which is before the ruku', which is when they read the Fatiha. That's very clear. There's no hadith, there's nothing, even fabricated hadith. Whereas the other one after the ruku', there is an understanding of a hadith, which is generalized. Prophet ﷺ, he said that which is hadith Wa'il ibn Hujr, that he used to put the right on the left in the qiyam, standing up. So that's qiyam, and after ruku' is qiyam as well. That's what they say. So that's the understanding of the hadith made them to do the right on the left, which you find them in most likely in the Arabian Peninsula. So you're saying to me, so what is the rule of person who's putting the right and the left on his side? Well, if he knew this is the sunnah and he is not doing it because of his infallible, because of his fanaticism, blind following, and he knows the sunnah is not like this, then he will be sinned. But if he's doing it because of his ignorance, and he doesn't know, a person who's doing it because he can't do it because he's scared, like the Rafidah, the Shia, somebody had left Shi'ism and he's amongst the Shia, he will be scared to put the right on the left, because according to the Shia, that this is not allowed. Some of them will go as far as the prayer will be invalid. So if you put the right on the left, your prayer is invalid. But whether it's invalid or not invalid, whether it is liked, as soon as you put the right on the left, you are Wahhabi for them. Khalas, it's Sunni. Do you understand that? That's why he'd be in danger. So if that person did it and put the right on the left because he's worried to put it in front of them and he wants to hide his identity, no problem about that. Okay, so that's, as I said, so if you are ignorant, no sin. If you are being forced like this, no sin. But if you knew the sunnah and you're still doing this, then that's a sin, and that is the correct opinion of the scholars. Because the scholars, the majority, they say it is sunnah. Sunnah here, it is like recommended. Some of no, it's a sunnah from the sunnah, but it is command. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Umirna ma'ashar al-anbiya. We've been commanded, we are the prophets, to put our right on the left in the prayer. It's a command. So if he's commanded, we gotta follow him. And all the prophets of Allah ﷺ, also he commanded that person who has done wrong in his prayer, he said to him, put your right in your left. And I think we have done the book of Salah here in this masjid. You could refer back to it. Now. تفضل. Anybody here? تفضل.
شيخ لقد ذكرت الأشعري اللي هو المذهب.
هل الأشعري is the أشعري مذهب؟ Okay. الأشعري مذهب in the عقيدة, but not madhab in the fiqh. When we talked about the madhab, that was in the fiqh. Abu Hanifa differing in the rules of regarding, for example, does touching the woman makes the invalidation of the wudu or not, or the blood when it comes out, does it invalidate the wudu? It's called what? Madhahib fiqhiyya. Fiqh madhab. But there is madhahib aqadiyya. Madhab in the aqidah. And that is one which we don't tolerate, because all the imams, they are upon one aqidah. Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, they are upon one aqidah. They are upon the aqidah of the Salaf, al-Salih, the predecessors, the companions. But this madhab al-Ash'ari, it is not on the aqidah of the Salaf. It's according to the Ash'ari. That's what it's called Ash'ari. Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari. He is the one whom they attribute themselves to. But he, Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari, we believe he was a Salafi. But you see, Abu Hasan al-Ash'ari, he was in 3 phases of his time. Phase number 1, he was with the Mu'tazila, the ones who deny the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They believe in the names, but they deny the attributes. These Mu'tazila, he left them. And he adopted the methodology in Aqidah of Ibn Kullab. Ibn Kullab, he was affirming 7 attributes only, but he does not affirm all the attributes, like going up and going down. He doesn't say that. Or Allah Azza wa Jalla is above. He doesn't say that. And that is the Ash'ariyah. But Imam Hasan al-Ash'ari, before he died, he went to a 3rd stage where the followers of the Ash'ari, they don't approve that. They don't really agree with this. They say no. He did not go to that 3rd stage, which is the stage when he said, I am on the madhab of Imam Ahmad in the Aqidah. And on the madhab of Imam Ahmad ibn Muhammad Aqidah, which is a Salafi Aqidah. So he written as well books about this. رسائل أهل الثغر, مقالات الإسلاميين, in which he had dictated his Aqidah. Those 2 books, they've been rejected by the Ash'ari to say that these are not the books of Abu Hasan al-Ash'ari. But anyway, this is the call of Ash'ariyah. The Ash'ari, they said, they have irja', and they also have in the Asma' al-Sifat problem, in the Qada' wal-Qadar. So this, okay, in the Iman, which is goes up and down, okay, they have a difference. Well, they're not having, they say that the Iman yazidu yanqus. There is called Maturidiyah, Abu Mansur al-Maturidi. Al-Maturidi, which is similar to the Sharia, but they do not say the Iman does go up and down. And you could find these differences in the books of the Aqidah. Now, Yazak. Right, anybody? Okay, Ahmed, تفضل.
Jazakallah khairan, Shaykhana. We've received 2 written questions. One of them is a question asking for the ruling on eating at a restaurant. This restaurant has halal chicken, but downstairs there's a bar where they sell alcohol. Is it permissible to eat in such a place?
There is what? A dawah?
Wow.
Downstairs there's a bar with alcohol.
No. So if it is a separate bar, separate company, separate owner, yes, no problem. But if it is just one entrance for both of them and they belong to each other, you do not eat in such a place. Okay, because this person, you're helping him to do the haram. Unless there's no place to eat, then you make sure, because I'm pretty sure that this restaurant would allow people to come with alcohol and sit on the table. Because you've got a bar downstairs, you could bring the drink upstairs as well to drink there. So you shouldn't be eating such a place. Now, Yalla Ahmed.
The second question, Shaykhana, is a person stole money and he repented, but the problem is he said he can't find the person to return the money to. And he also mentions that he used up all of the money to pay off a student loan, which he says is a riba contract.
Yes, salam. Clever. His mashallah became religious and mufti to himself. So he done two haram. Haram number one, he stole money. Haram number two, he took the loan. And he wanted to settle the haram of the loan by the haram of the theft. MashaAllah. Allah al-Musta'an, ya Shaykh. Reminds me of a joke of Ivan in his fatwa. Allah al-Musta'an. Okay, maybe it's not fit for me to say about this fatwa to do with the pregnancy of the heart of it. I'll agenda it. The kids here. طيب. So we say, Ikhwani, barakallah fikum, this person should fear Allah not to take the loan. And should fear Allah that he stole. He made tawbah now. The stolen money, if he doesn't get it back to the person, he should give it for the sake of Allah, and it will be counted as a charity on behalf of that person whom you have stolen it from. So if you make it as a hiba, charity, alhamdulillah, that's better. And if you are able to bring that money back now from your loan, do that. Okay, and if you are able to settle your loan straight away without doing the riba, then do that. And if you can't, then you can't. What can we tell you? If you're unable financially, what can we tell you? There's no option for me, you left. Now, تفضل. Yalla Zuhra.
Assalamualaikum. My question is about Islamic board games which have a dice. Are you not allowed to play them either? And why is rolling a dice wrong?
Any game, whether it is non-Islamic or Islamic games, or Islamic, they call it banks games, which have the dice, it is haram. Prophet of Allah, he said, he who does play with the dice is like he put his hand into the blood and the flesh of a swine. Imagine, put your hand, فكأنما خضب يده بدم ولحم الخنزير. Swine. والعياذ بالله. And it's haram because Prophet of Allah is haram. And number two, it's luck. There's no such thing, a good throw. Or a skillful person in throwing. And this person has been throwing dice for 100 years. And I could be defeated because I just throw it. And it depends upon something called what? Luck. And there's no luck. It's everything with what? The qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because this a game which emphasizes that the luck and lucky, we're not allowed to do that. That's gambling. So we're not allowed to use the game of the dice. Now.
Jazakallah khairan.
Anybody else, Khwani, from here? MashaAllah. So good, inshallah, presence of the students here. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. And as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala an yanfa'a bikum. Remember, Khwani, inshallah, we'll have no class in 2 weeks' time. Classes will be after that. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. بارك الله.